suis un peu reconnu sur certains points. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm switching to English because we're going to have our 25% talk in English now. Oh, is it in French? No, in English. I don't know if you know these guys, Ben and Martin. They do plenty of stuff. Brilliant people, nice guys. They're English, so they drink beer, but they promise to drink wine here in Paris during Devox France. These guys are from the London user group, a bit like the Paris Java user group, but they are quite different from us in the way they are organized and everything. It's quite interesting. I don't know if we will go that far. These guys are part of the JCP. So if people here know the Java community process, and you know that there's IBM involved, and Oracle involved, and Sun involved. Oops, Sun is not involved anymore. These guys are part of the JCP. So there's a user group that represent the JCP. So that's quite unusual. And they also do stuff like adopted JSR, etc., etc. So they're gonna do the keynote now, and they're staying here till tomorrow because they have another talk tomorrow. Don't hesitate to talk to these guys about the JCP, the JSI, and the user group. They have a funny view of things. Thanks, Guy, for being here in Paris.
Yeah, merci. Thank you. So, goedemorgen iedereen. Welkom naar Devox België. Nee? Verkeerd? Oké. Probeer iets anders. Probeer een beetje Engels. Hello everyone. Good morning. Welcome to the English keynote. Who here speaks a little English? Okay.
All right.
If you have friends next to you who do not speak any English, tell them not to panic. We have a surprise.
Yeah. So I think we've probably covered pretty much everything which is on this slide already. So thank you to Antonio for a great intro. We help to run the London Java user group, which is about 2,500 people. We also do some other stuff. We're on the JCP. So basically, we're trying to get all of you guys to come and participate in new standards. So you've probably seen Lambdas and Jigsaw, but that's not the only new standards that are coming out, so please get involved. But the title of this talk is Heaven and Hell. And what we're going to do is we're going to take you on a journey through two possible futures. And as you'll see, which future actually comes to pass is up to all of you. But, you know, it's first thing in the morning, so we'll start with some good news. A view of a nice future where all of you are going to be happy and it's not going to be dark at all. That part comes later. So, what can we say about the future? Well, we're looking kind of 10 years out. So in 10 years, Java is still the #1 programming language in the world. We've had some great successes. Java 8 has come out on time in 2013.
Any Oracle employees in the room? We're holding you to it.
Yeah. Java is still is still the #1 language in the world. Jigsaw has become, Jigsaw is a modularity solution, which is going to allow you to deploy essentially like Maven. Oh, and here's our surprise. There we are.
Bonjour, Devox.
Yeah. So with Jigsaw widely deployed, this means essentially for all of you who like Maven, hands up if you use Maven. Yep, hands up if you like Maven. Wow, Maven fanboys, excellent.
In London you would get boos.
Yeah. So with Jigsaw widely deployed, Maven starts to fall away again, and we can produce more advanced tooling. Then the next thing which comes along is Java 9. Rarefied generics. Hands up if you want rarefied generics.
Yay!
Hands up if you don't want rarefied generics and you think that's a stupid idea.
You're alone, buddy. You're alone.
I know.
Yeah. So it's a shame Josh Block isn't here because we could rail on him some more. But this 2015, it's going to be done right.
Yep.
We hope.
And so at this point, the next Java is Java. What do we mean by that? Well, as you know, there are a few other languages in the world. Hands up if you like Scala. Hands up.
Hey,
See, small but vocal. I told you that's what it was going to be.
We're going to burst your bubble, guys.
No, I love Scala. I think it's really good that you guys are a nice language lab for us, and you're going to try out loads of features and tell us what works and what doesn't. So yeah, so any good ideas you have, that's great. We're going to steal them. Thank you. So what's at the heart of all this innovation? Where is all of this great stuff going to come from? Well, it's going to come from the OpenJDK. Hands up if you know, as of Java 7, the reference implementation for Java is the OpenJDK. It is the GPL edition. And all the complicated things that we have to do with licensing of Java, that's basically just to allow us to, Oracle to have the commercial product for all their corporate customers off the same code base as the OpenJDK. If you want to make changes, if you want to get involved, the OpenJDK is the place to do it.
So one of the programs we've started, which we're hoping to go global, and we're going to pester Antonio to make it work in France, is to help out with Java, the language, and the platform itself. Okay? Oracle and the other large vendors want the Java developers' help. They want the Java user groups' help.
Yes. So if you have some ideas for how you might want to get involved, or you just slyly think that it might be a good thing to have on your CV, I've committed code which made it into Java and shipped. Yeah? If you think that might come in handy in a job interview one day, well, come and see us after the keynote and we'll tell you all about Adopt the OpenJDK. Okay, so let's talk about hardware. As you can tell, there's quite a fast pace to a lot of this. These slides just keep on coming. Hardware. Hardware has been through a period of stagnation, a period where Intel was the only game in town, and you just got more and more transistors and everything got faster and faster. Sorry, those days are over. You software engineers that have had a free ride on the hardware guys, sorry, the lunch is finished. It's time to do something different. And what's happening is the hardware is getting more diverse again. GPUs, ARM chips, all these things which are happening in the hardware space, which are forcing us to think differently about hardware. And the OpenJDK in the next 10 years is going to adapt to that. It's going to be right at the forefront. The OpenJDK is going to be the platform which enables us to reach out and get Java and JVM technology onto those hardware platforms.
If you're scared of concurrency, tough luck. It's coming.
Okay, so what else is going to happen? Mobile. So tied in with hardware is mobile. So everything which you have, even one of these things, is now multi-core. Right? Any device which you buy, unless you buy some really cheap, nasty little old Nokia phone, is going to have multiple cores in it. And that's going to continue. Every device which you have, everything which you will ever program in your entire lives, probably from here on out, will have multiple cores. And then eventually many cores. Yeah.
So tomorrow, the lawsuit is going to finish. Yes! And Oracle and Google will hug each other, and it'll all be better.
Yep.
Yeah? That's what we all want to see.
Yep. And part of that strategy will be JavaFX, which is the new client program. Hands up if you write Swing. Any Swing programmers?
Oh, you poor people.
Who likes Swing? Keep your hand up if you like Swing.
Oh, you mad people.
Wow. Okay. Masochists. Fantastic.
Yeah.
So JavaFX is the new client platform which is going to replace Swing. And that's going to drive the story in mobile. Okay, but the good news doesn't end there. The Java platform is going to reach out to developing markets. In the next 10 years, we will see a minimum of 2 million new developers join the IT industry, and those are going to be Java developers, they're going to be JVM developers, and they're going to come and join all of us from the developing parts of the world, from India and China and Brazil. This is where the growth in our community and in all of us is going to come from.
Devox and Mandarin, perhaps, Stefan, in Beijing?
Devox Beijing. Stefan, what do you think? Yep. And it's because of that that's going to keep our community strong and vibrant, and we're going to get some disruptive new ideas from those guys. They're going to challenge us, but they're also going to make us stronger. Do you want to?
Yeah. So the next thing we have is it's not advanced, is it?
There we go. Yeah. Perfect. Computing style. So remember, this is the heaven view. What's going to happen? People are going to continue to have good access to their data. They have choice. You can move your data between platforms. Yeah? It's nice and easy to get your data out of Facebook, right? Well, in the future it will be. In the future it's going to be fine. You can take your data out of one platform, just put it into some fantastic new version of Google Plus, for example. Who's a user of Google Plus?
Hey. Excellent.
And what about Facebook? Oh, that's interesting. Wasn't expecting that.
And people like Alex here will produce the next Java API, which will allow you to move all of your music from iTunes seamlessly to Google Music and back again, without any complaints from lawyers. It'll be just fine.
But yeah, so there won't be any nasty lawsuits and restrictive practices to prevent you from moving what's rightfully your data from platform to platform. Free and open source software, the FOSS, will become really part of the mainstream. Consumers will understand, based on the arguments that are made in privacy and about access to your data, and ourselves are larger. We have data, and we have digital parts of ourselves which are stored in the network, and the freedom of those parts of ourselves is as important.
Now, France has a very strong open source spirit, a very strong open source background. Who here works on open source software? Just about everybody. It's absolutely fantastic. And the heavenly future for us is that open source software will completely dominate. And not only that, when you talk to your mother and father about free and open source software, they will actually understand what you are talking about.
Yeah.
And maybe even the lawyers, maybe.
Maybe.
If we're lucky.
Tech companies. So startups continue to thrive. Innovation, this is a great and glorious future where small companies come out of nowhere, some guys out of university with some great idea, and they continue to push the industry forward and push society forward. There's no limit on the innovation and the imagination of the people that come up, and even old people like us actually get involved in startups as well.
Who are you calling old? Unbelievable. It's my grey hair.
And the cloud-based technology stacks are at the heart of this, because as you all know, if you have a spare weekend and a dream, anybody can make a startup. You find yourself a cloud provider, and away you go.
If you currently hate your job, and you are converting XML to Java and Java back to XML again.
Hands up if you're doing that.
Yeah, and saving it into a database using Hibernate. Seriously, go out and try one of the Java cloud providers. In a weekend, sit down with your friends and build a new website, let's say, based on choosing the next red wine for your next meal.
So, social networks and privacy. Well, privacy is very important. So, after all, we wouldn't want Antonio to have this picture of him drinking beer to get out in London. No, wine, always wine, you see, never beer. No.
Do we have a photo of Antonio drinking beer?
No, that would be the hell part of the talk.
Apologies.
It's heaven, right?
Yes.
Of course we don't, and there's absolutely nothing to worry about.
Nothing at all. So yeah, going on with the theme, instead of having to dive into a million Facebook controls to set your privacy settings so your wife or your mother-in-law doesn't find out you've been out late at night dancing, these privacy controls will be nice and simple. And not only that, our children will grow up to understand how to set these right from an early age. This is our heavenly
and
view of the things.
Our very wise governments will enshrine this in law to make sure that unscrupulous companies can't take advantage of us.
Yeah.
Holographics and augmented reality. Hands up if you've seen Google Glass.
Yeah. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, there we go. So Google Glass, their goggles project. Have you seen this? Yeah? Okay. If you haven't seen, of course, this is heaven. So if I were to say, check out the Tom Scott video of how it could go, it's got no part in heaven, of course. It's going to work exactly like the Google folks think it will. It'll be completely transparent and seamless, and it will all be good.
So these sorts of technologies that are coming out in the future are fantastic opportunities for you as Java developers. Okay? Java permeates everything at the back end, everything server-side. It's very much moving into mobile. Will there be a need for Java APIs that deal with holographic 3D imaging with augmented reality? Of course. So think about this, and this weekend, start that new startup.
Yep.
And of course, have your documentation in French.
Of course. So, the Large Hadron Collider, a good project on the French border, produces some new physics. So there we go. And the laser signaling. Somebody in this room actually grows up to be the project lead for SETI, and they find alien life, and it's all cute and fluffy.
It comes along and gives us a big hug. So, think maybe, the nicer part of Star Trek and perhaps not
with little forehead ridges, not alien.
So again, all of these areas are areas we are really hoping that you yourselves start thinking about. So instead of perhaps these sort of more boring corporate payroll type applications you develop today, there's a massive wide range of possibilities out there for you going forwards.
The Java API to the Interplanetary Networking Protocol. Okay? This is not a joke. This thing exists. There is actually an interplanetary IP. And if you go and look, somebody should totally write a Java API for it. But it's not all good news.
It's not all good news.
Definitely not all good news.
Right. So we start with our version of Java the language.
Welcome to the real world.
Brian Gertz today posted on the Java 8 mailing list, the Lambda dev mailing list, please come and test lambdas. Please come and test closures that are in Java 8. But you're all too lazy, and you don't test it.
What you do is you see the mail scroll past, and when it finally goes gold, then you start to complain about it.
Yeah.
Yeah? How many, hands up, who uses JPA or JMS, yeah? There are plenty of things in those standards that you hate, right? Yeah? There are things which bug you on a daily basis. Okay? If you don't want to be seeing this with lambdas, get in and test now.
Yeah.
If you're involved in an open source project, run your open source project against the Java 8 betas.
Is Henri Gomez here? Henri?
Yep. Oh, he's there.
Yeah, there he is.
Hey.
He is producing Mac builds with the latest Java 8 snapshots for you.
Yep.
So because this is hell, don't try them out and ignore him.
Yeah.
He's a bad person.
Yeah.
So we have these massive problems. Java starts becoming delayed, like the gap we had between Java 6 and Java 7. We wait 5 years, 5 long years in the wilderness without a new version of Java. Java therefore slips out of the mainstream and goes the way of another famous language, COBOL.
Yeah.
And
then we get Java 9. And again, the problems we had with Jigsaw, the problems with getting modularized applications to work properly because you guys didn't test your applications, Java 9 slips. We're now to 2020, and we've only just got Java 9 out. And the hangover from Jigsaw is still haunting us.
Do you want your children coding Java 9 in 2020?
Do you want your children coding PHP in 2020?
Next problem we have. We get organized. The Java user groups get organized, and we get 300 of us fixing bugs on a single day in Java. The only problem is there's no quality control. Oh dear.
That's because we went out drinking, right?
Yes. Red wine, not beer.
And that's red wine. You see, it's terrible. You should drink beer.
So we flood the OpenJDK with all of these bug fixes, and the OpenJDK, especially the Oracle guys, cannot cope. It's too much work. They try to put it in, it's too buggy, and they say, go away, don't ever come back again.
Yeah. What happens? The innovation moves elsewhere. It moves out to .NET and some other platforms which come up. The world becomes fragmented and very small, and the innovation, the Scala guys, I'm sorry, it dies on the vine.
Are there any Microsoft spies in the room, actually?
Yeah. Taking notes by now?
Yeah, good.
So, hardware. Well, hardware continues to fragment, but something terrible happens. The world of hardware becomes infested with patents. There become arguments between the main vendors, and lawsuits dominate over the next 10 years.
They're not dominating now?
Not in hardware, not yet.
No.
The OpenJDK project tries to keep up, but because of apathy, because of lack of developer participation, because of lawsuits. Some of the ports start to fail. OpenJDK can no longer keep up. It no longer is present on the platforms. We don't get decent GPU support, for example. So the availability of GPU chips means that Java's performance suffers relative to competitors.
So if you are a person who's interested in having Java on your ARM chip, which is going to be in every mobile device known to man going forward, then please don't get involved.
Mobile. Android. Hands up if you write Android applications. Yep.
Wow, a fair number of you.
Hands up if you target an API version later than 2.2. One person. That is the issue with Android, and that's what happens in hell. Android fragmentation continues. Android fragmentation gets worse. Hands up if you have to test your application on more than 500 device configurations today. Okay? Well, you should be. The recommended minimum configuration is 700 different possible device configurations. There's one application in Android where they tested on 700. They saw 1,200 distinct device configurations in the first month, and still 99% of their support traffic was about unsupported configurations. That is the hell of Android if we're not extremely careful.
And in addition to that, the other hell is you all have to learn Objective-C.
Because
now, Stefan sings its praises on the Java user group leaders list, but nobody's buying it. It's a tough language to pick up.
So,
developing markets.
What happens here? Well, with all this doom and gloom, Android fragmentation, lack of support on modern platforms, lack of shininess, lack of enthusiasm, people start to look elsewhere.
Microsoft turns up in emerging markets, such as India, certain countries in Africa, China, and buys their governments. They have enough cash, right? They mandate that .NET and closed proprietary solutions must be used throughout the developing world. And anyone who learns a new computer language at a university or at a school must learn C# or VB.
Do you want to be VB programmers?
This could all come true. Because emerging markets are locked into these awful languages, no new ideas come out and the technology stagnates.
But everything's okay, because Apple will save you. Apple and their nice, shiny, lovely devices.
We love Apple.
Which once you've got your data in, it's never coming out again. Your data and your stuff gets locked into a single platform. iOS basically starts to dominate even on the Macs. The MacBook no longer becomes a developer's machine. It becomes simply a platform.
Who here bought their Macintosh because it has a Unix terminal window? Yeah, that's going away.
Real soon now.
Real soon.
And what happens after that? Well, other vendors start to look at Apple's profit margins and they start to copy them. So the age of general purpose computing comes to an end.
Yep. No more terminal windows, no more root access.
Everything looks like an iPad.
There's someone crying in the front already. Brilliant.
Indeed. But it's okay, because the open source developers will save us. No. Instead, they become inward-looking. They become elitist. They become focused solely on their own needs and their own concerns. So what's worse than your children growing up learning PHP and writing that? Having them growing up and not programming at all. Because there's nowhere to go. The age of general purpose computing has ended. Everything is an iPad. And the free and open source developers simply don't care anymore. They don't care about where the next generation of programmers and geeks are going to come from.
In fact, you go and hide in underground bunkers, screaming about that the year of the Linux desktop will come back one day.
And some idiot startup venture guy from San Francisco tells you that it's okay because it's open API. It doesn't matter whether the source is open or not. There's an open API, and that's all that you need. So, what does that mean? The existing giants, the existing tech giants, they start to realize that lobbying's the way to go. They spend money forcing governments to write legislation which is in their favor. Bad for tech startups, bad for innovation. bad for you.
Every time any startup comes up with a good new idea, Facebook buys them, Google buys them, Oracle buys them.
Or they just get patented and lawyered out of existence.
Exactly.
You know, you have a startup in something as simple as a taxi company, naming no names. All of a sudden, you start to see existing incumbents legislating against that because they don't want that person to enter their market.
And what happens to the founders of these startups? Have you noticed that nobody ever hears about them ever again? That's our version of hell. They get taken away quietly.
Yes.
Never to innovate
again. No one ever
again.
sees them again. So, what about the ordinary consumer? Well, you have Facebook. Everything is fine. Facebook has your data. Why would you ever want to leave Facebook? Facebook loves you. Privacy? Well, if you're Eric Schmidt, you have privacy. If you can ban the New York Times from every Google event for reporting on your marriage breakup, why? Of course you have privacy. Oh, but you don't have privacy. None of you.
When you log into your desktop in the morning, you use your Facebook login. And your employer can go and check exactly what you've been up to the night before.
And that's legal.
Completely legal and supported.
And if you want to do any kind of new innovation or new application or even a free thing, you have to use a single login, which is tied back to your real identity.
And when Antonio says that Devox France was better than Devox Belgium, Stefan raises 10,000 troops and walks up to Antonio's house because he knows exactly where he lives.
Yep. But that's okay, because, you know, the entertainment's great, right? Hollywood keeps producing wonderful stuff for you guys.
That's right, no more French films about love and romance and the arts.
Yeah.
No, we're talking reruns of Arnold Schwarzenegger action movies.
What are you talking about? They're going to be remakes. That's what the future of entertainment is, remake after remake, because the ideas and the innovation have been crushed out. The MPAA owns everything. So, fair use or parody?
Not allowed. Your children will learn to speak with American Texan accents. Because that is all they will ever see on TV.
Yeah.
The French Language Institute ceases to exist. Boo.
But, you thought you had problems before. Well, you've played Half-Life, right? Hands up if you played Half-Life, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, what do you think the Large Hadron Collider was?
Now I'm going to tell you a little bit of truth here. This man, who is currently the CEO of my company, so not a technologist anymore, he's not allowed to, has written code for the LHC. Your days are numbered.
But that's okay, because, you know, some bright, innovative spark in this room actually writes a Java program which is able to analyze the SETI data. And we make contact. Well, that went well.
So if you're planning on writing a Java API to contact alien civilizations, please don't.
So, the one thing which we haven't talked about, politics. There'll be a new single world leader.
The new world order will rise. I wonder who this person will be.
Should we find out?
We should find out.
It's this guy!
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
But remember, this is hell. And we can't leave you like this.
Can't leave you like this.
So I think we'd better finish in heaven.
In heaven. A nice heavenly note. So the new world leader, and I hope you will all agree, because he speaks French and he claims to drink red wine.
It's this guy! So,
it took us forever to find that photo.
The French elections.
French elections are happening now, yeah? So vote for Antonio. There you go.
So, thank you very much for having us. We hope you enjoyed the talk, and there is really only one point in this talk, which is The future can be anything, but what it is up to you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.